In Minneapolis, he has been watching the scene there unfold. The state police have now taken a lead role in moving people back. What has happened since I left you?
Yeah, and the National Guard may be coming in as well. I think as the State Patrol moves people out of certain areas, the National Guard would sort of hold that ground. We basically made a big loop around the block where you saw us running. Those are State Patrol officers down that way. This is the way they pushed up. We were on that side of that. All that smoke or the fire is now burning. This is the 5th precinct here. I want to show you sort of just the number of police cars and buses. Ken, tell us if you could come over this way. You can see all those police cars and some buses off in the distance there. They go on and on and on. Glenn Dacey, producer who just walked up, said that there were about 200 officers, all heavily armored up and clad, that passed him as he was parked down here. Ken Tillis, our photographer, got hit by a canister. Carolyn Sung, our producer, she got a very healthy dose of tear gas as well. And now you can see the police have cleared that area. They're moving back in this direction now. And in fact, I'm not sure, this looks like this is Minneapolis Police. These are not State Patrol. So they were doing other stuff up in here. Now it looks like they're moving to a different area. Let's go over to the side of over here so that we're stay out of their way. But look at the number of police here as they move out. They were able to clear. Move over to the side. Ken, move over to the side there. Watch your back. Watch your back. Watch your back. So they're moving us back. And they were clearly very busy clearing out the neighborhood here.
Right.
And they are now moving us back. All of their cars. I was surprised when we came around the corner, given the number of protesters in the area, that all of their vehicles here were pretty much without any sort of protection. So they left them there as they were taking on the protesters. Now they seem to feel confident enough that they have that at hand. Presumably the National Guard will come in here, hold some of the ground that they've created so far, and hold on, I'm getting some urgent. Minnesota Public Safety says that 350 troopers near 5th Precinct to clear area, enforce curfew. Well, that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Miguel, that
makes the National Guard is coming in.
That makes sense. That they use the tear gas to disperse the crowd, and then they come behind it, and they usually have some kind of organizational plan about where they want people to go. You'll find that out before we do. The officers who are walking up from Minneapolis, people were asking online what those long sticks are. Those are called various things, but basically they are crowd control batons. They are usually made of wood, sometimes of plastic. You will hear from officers that will tell you that they're not as solid because they're not supposed to injure as much as some of the black batons would or the old wooden batons. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they tell you. Those are the long sticks you're seeing on their bodies. Miguel, any idea of where they're moving to?
Police have a very long night ahead of them. I think what they are trying to do now is get out in front of the protesters and keep moving alongside of them and keep them on the defensive, basically. And we'll probably start making arrests. I mean, last night, for all of the damage and all of the stuff that we saw last night, there were not that many arrests. It was a little surprising how few arrests there were. I think tonight that arrest count will probably go up much higher, given sort of the way that they've cleared out this area tonight, given that there's a curfew and that there was fair warning that if they were out on the streets tonight, they would arrest them. They allowed many hours of protest, many hours of peaceful protest, and then this, once it got to the 5th Precinct and that focal point of the police and all of that anger, all of the shops around there started to be looted, were being burned. The bank was going up. The precinct itself was under attack like the 3rd Precinct was last night.
Right.
That's when they put the hammer down. and that was it.
Well,
Chris,
also, look, Miguel, as you know, and as you've observed so many times in so many places around the country,
watch yourself. Watch your back.
it's a mixed proposition for the police to make arrests because usually it's going to have, a provocative play for that group that's there. So they have to take that into consideration as well. Don't get hit by a cruiser. Get yourself into position, Miguel, and let me know when to come back to you. All right, so we're going to leave Miguel Marquez right now. The big guys with the masks are working security or they're working production for CNN. I know it's like, who are these big guys walking around behind Miguel? They're security, and the other guy, he mentioned to you, Glenn Dacey, who Miguel and I have been working with for about 20 years, who's working production for CNN in areas like that, just to give you some context that they are safe where they are right now. Let's bring in Van Jones. Van, do I have you?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing,
hear
my
me?
friend? Thank you for being with me tonight.
Proud to be here, sir.
Give us a perspective on the national context of what we're seeing. Why these different cities echoing there? What is your observation on that?
Well, listen, I've talked to people on the ground in multiple cities, and people, frankly, of all walks of life, black, white, brown, and otherwise. There's a sense of people just being fed up. I think that something broke in this country when, and people around the world